Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us this far. We are glad you are with us. In case you are just joining us, karibu tena sana. This is Good Morning Kenya. I am Jain Mboya. We are using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle ever remains to be at KBC Channel 1 across all the social media platforms. My handle is at Jain Wambui. We welcome you to be part of this discussion. Share with us your thoughts, your comments, salamu, send in your requests. By the way, today, tunawachezea mangoma kadhaa here and there. We welcome you to share all that goodness with us. So right now we want to get started with our first conversation, and this is all about the Hult Prize. What is it, you ask? Let us find out together. And to help us with this conversation, with us in studio, we have two guests. I'll start with the lady to my extreme right. She is Hannah Nungari, who is the Vice Campus Director at the Kenya University, Multimedia University. Yeah. Apologies for that. Media Universities. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us today. And to my immediate right, we have Desmond Smith Mboya, who is a campus director at Tombeni Campus Gani Nisichome Tena. Good morning and welcome.
Morning to you. It's Kenyatta University.
There we go. I wasn't fast. All right, welcome. Thank you for being with us today. So we are talking about the Hult Prize. And for some, they're like, what is that? What is this Hult Prize you were talking about? Let me start with you, Desmond. The Hult Prize, your bit of background on it, condense it due to the interest of time.
Okay, so the Hult Prize has been labeled as the Nobel Peace Prize for students. Basically it's an innovation competition, global one, bring students all over the world, giving them a chance to participate from the first level, which is their own campus, and exposing them all the way to the finals, which happens at the UN headquarters, and the best team gets a grant of $1 million to inject into their business. So it's about identifying, accelerating, and just trying to push the ability among the youth.
What was your first interaction with this Hult Prize when you first heard of it?
So my first interaction was back in 2017 as a participant. Back when I didn't think that, I'd ever interact with Hult Prize again. So we participated, didn't manage to reach to the regionals. Then fast forward back in 2021, I'm called by the former campus director, have a conversation, tell me, oh, you've heard about Hult Prize? I say, sure. So there's this role called the campus director. I would like you to apply. So normally you apply, several of you go through an interview.
Yes.
So me being me did the interview, knowing very well that I'd not get this. But we are here now.
Here we are.
Here we are.
All right, let me come to you, Hannah. Given you are the campus's vice director, what was your first interaction with the Hult Prize competition?
So to answer that question, first I got the interaction back in 2020. When the campus director back then, she's called Patricia Mativo. She just gave me a call and told me, I want you to become part of my organizing committee. So I was part of the organizing committee back then as the documentation coordinator.
And how has it been, looking at the reception, even in your institution, being part of the competition, how has the reception been among the students in MMU?
Yeah, it has been an interesting reception. The students at Multimedia, they're very innovative. They accept the idea about Hult Prize and they incorporate it and
they appreciate it.
Yeah, they appreciate it so much.
What about KU? Looking at the first time it was introduced in the institution.
I mean, it has morphed over time. I think when I was a participant, that was actually the first time it was introduced. Fast forward, there's a lot of interest. I think in the first intake, there was around 20 teams. Currently, we are having over 150 teams getting interested, over 1,000 students participating in different activities. Even the committee members, it's a bit stretched right now because we are working with around 15 committee members because there's a lot to handle. And I'm just loving the evolution of itself from the beginning till now. It's mind-blowing thinking about it.
I can imagine. Now, given you are the campus director, are you also part of the student leader committee, or these are two separate entities?
We are different entities. Of course, we meet once in a while.
It's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement. We meet once in a while and have discussions so now we can cooperate. But at the end of the day, Hult Prize being an independent body, they are looking for people who share the vision and also individuals who can push it to the next level. So that's why they actually take it very formally. do the interviews and try as much as possible to find the candidate who can be able to create that impact not only to the students but to the community.
So that brings a lot of working relationship with the school administration as well.
Yes.
And what about the situation in MMU, looking at the school's administration in partnership with the Hult team?
Yeah, so at Multimedia, so we have the Multimedia Innovation Center where we've partnered up with them as Hult Prize, because Hult Prize enables students to come up with ideas. So we have to work together with the innovation team at Multimedia.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let me come to this year's competition, 2021-2022. It did start towards the end of last year.
Yeah.
Let me start with you, Hannah. Tell us a bit about the team that you already have in place to just see through this competition this year.
Yeah, so we did have a launch at Multimedia, an activation launch last Friday. So it was a launch to sensitize the students to get to know about Hult Prize. You know, every year you get to incorporate new students, first-year students, and other students who might not have heard about Hult Prize before. So we had to do a sensitization so that the students can be able to know what Hult Prize is all about. Yeah.
What about the team at KU, bringing together the team? Did you also need to do the sensitization in your school to just make sure that you're also giving everyone an equal opportunity to be part of the team?
I think the very first essential thing is identifying a team that is visionary as you and can work with you. And that's the most critical part, because it's the make or break deal at the end of the day. Yeah? So, of course, I had to identify the team that I'm working with and try to bring them together and see if they share the same dream as we do. Then, of course, involve the administration through our mentor, who's the director of Chandari Innovation Center.
Okay.
And then from there, we set out the timeline of activities which we wanted to achieve. And so far, I can say it's been an emotional roller coaster, but we are surviving. We are not complaining. Yeah. There have been joyful moments, sad moments, and of course learning moments along the way.
All right.
We've interacted with the students during some activations, and of course also planned various activities. You know, not only to help them in terms of the competition, but also other things.
All right. Yeah. What are some of the challenges that you've encountered as part of the team that is putting together the larger team to make sure that the competition that you're setting up this year is stepping up? What is part of it so far?
Yeah, so the hardest part is to assemble teams, actually. Yeah, to be able to approach the students and tell them that this Hult Prize, it's a competition, a global competition, and we want you guys to form a team of 3 or 4 people to be able to participate in the competitions. So during, because of the timing, you find that maybe the student is not really that confident and is like, oh, can you really have that idea? So yeah, getting to and make the students to voluntarily join and participate in the competitions has been a challenge. And then there's also been a challenge of looking for sponsorship. Yeah, you have to look for sponsors and partner up with organizations to be able to fund us, because we need to launch the on-campus program, at campus.
All right. What about at KU? Are you also struggling with the same challenge of guys just showing up?
I think one of the biggest challenges we've faced so far is debunking the theory that innovation is technical. Because the history is that so many students who actually participate in these competitions come from the school of engineering, medicine, nursing, So anytime you're having a conversation with guys about innovation, people are like, what for engineering, And we are just trying to break that down and tell them that, it's not a matter of being in the school of engineering. You can actually identify anything in any field and actually do something. And we just give them the example of, currently we are having the CBC, which is coming in. That's an innovation because they realize there is a loophole in the 844.
Something's not working.
Something not technical. It's just someone who identified, let's overhaul the system and see how it goes. So anyone in any field can be able to do that. Then apart from that, I guess it's also, it's not about getting sponsors, because for me it's about convincing them, getting to have the conversations and also finding the right channel. Finding the right channel, because each and every meeting we go to is a pitch, and we have to tell these guys why they should come on board and work with us.
All right. And maybe we could get to the idea that you are presenting this year as a school. Let me start with you, Hannah. What's the idea? What's the innovation? What's the big dream?
Yeah, so for this year's a call of action. Actually, it's the theme of this year. Actually, with Hult Prize, every year there's always a theme which students have to work with to come up with the innovative ideas. So for this year's theme, Hult Prize theme is getting the world back to work by coming up with a business idea that will enable to create 2,000 jobs by the year 2024. Yeah.
And have you guys already identified the idea for your team?
Yeah, so...
Or you can't share it on TV?
Yeah, that's you have to come and watch it on the on-campus program.
It is well. Let me come back to you, Desmond. What about your, what can you share in regards to the idea that your team has come up with?
So, you know, the ideas varies in 2 levels. Of course, the organizing team and also the students. For the students, I have no clue whatsoever what they're organizing. I'm waiting to be astonished by the end of this all, yeah? But on our end as the organizing team, of course, our idea and our focus is creating a generational impact, yeah? That way, what we're trying to do is all these things that we're trying to put in place, we are trying to see if they can be able to be a long-term relationship, not only in terms of sponsorship with the administration, and also the other things that we'll just put on board, so that regardless of whether we'll be available in the next 10 to 20 years, people can still be able to enjoy in that line, yeah?
All right.
Yeah, so we are looking at cooperating with various corporates in terms of giving the students training. Our major focus this year is we are trying as much as possible to see if we can be able to work together with all these corporates and organizers and also the institution to see if we can be able to do the first of its kind research center, not only in Kenya, but in Africa, where all the crazy people like me can just go in, you know, try to look at the idea if it works or not. Yeah. If it's not working, can it be improved? Then if it's not working totally, then you know at least you tried, yeah? Okay. And just create a culture of innovation.
All right.
So that's what you're trying to do on our end.
Now, looking at getting the world back to work, your responsibility as the campus director, how then do you step in to help the students with the different ideas that they will come up with? Because they're working in individual groups, I do believe. What is your role in just making sure that you are sort of redirecting them should they be, you know, missing the mark in line with the theme?
So I love this year's theme because it's open-ended. I remember back in my high school in biology, we had the closed-ended and the open-ended essay, yeah? So in the closed-ended essay, basically what it meant, if you miss one step, they just cross your paper and put it aside, yeah? But for the open-ended essay, as long as you can do some rumors, which can be associated with something, it's good. So this year's theme is a bit open-ended, and it allows each and every idea, as long as it can be able to create the jobs and help us recover back from COVID-19, it's possible. So now, and what you're trying to do is focus their minds by training them like on various things ranging from pitching, writing their business proposals, getting professionals to train them in various areas, like for example, a couple of lawyers to just train them on contract law, patenting, among other things that are essential going forward for matters of their business.
All right. Now, let me also come to you, Hannah. Looking at your responsibility as the vice campus director in line with making sure, even if you're part of the competition, which are you?
Yeah, for me, I can take part in the competitions, but the campus director cannot.
Yeah. Ah, awesome. Now, given you have the room to, you know, be part of the teams and also be part of the guiding team, how then do you ensure that, you know, you're also helping the other teams stay in line with the theme?
Yeah, so like back then in 2021, the theme was food for good. So it was limiting students to come up with innovative ideas based on food, maybe in the agricultural sector. So on my end, I can say that for this year's theme, it's a bit more open-ended, as he's said, as he's mentioned, because a student can come up with any idea regardless of whichever sector, so that it can bring it can create jobs by the year 2024. So the idea behind the theme for this year is because of COVID. When COVID hit, I know a lot of people lost their jobs. So that's what Hult Prize is trying to do, getting the world back to work.
All right. Now, I also understand there's a team of judges on the coordination team. How are these judges going to be selected? Let me start again with you, Hannah, in your school. Are they students as well, or they are an outside entity that is going to be outsourced to be part of the team that helps coordinate Hult's competition in the school?
Yeah, so the students cannot take part as judges because it can be biased, or even taking a worker, maybe a lecturer or a professor at the university to partake as the judge, it might be a bit biased. So we're trying as much as possible to reach out to experts, especially business experts aligned with this year's theme, to be able to come on board and act as judges during the on-campus event.
Beautiful. Is that the same case at KU?
Of course. I mean, we want the crucifixion of Jesus to be the last one that ever happened. And we are trying as much as possible because at the end of the day, when we incorporate staff, it's actually good to incorporate the staff because they know the students. But of course, there might be a sense of biasness, yeah? So for what we are trying to look at on our end, we are having, of course, external judges, but in various fields so that we can be able to create neutrality. Someone in the field of engineering, someone in the field of media, someone in the field of law, someone in the field of even education, yeah? So that way we can be able to have a collective pool of brains that can be able to sit down and, you know, converse and say, I actually think this was a great idea, and we should push for this, instead of just having a clique of individuals from the school who can be able to lie towards an idea. We want to avoid that.
And speaking about cliques in schools, do you also have a team that is documenting some of these ideas that the students will present? Because not all of them will, you know, proceed to the finals, but there could be some beautiful ideas that could be developed within the school. Do you have a team that is documenting them and, you know, incubating in one way or the other within the school, looking at the administration, how they can also come on board?
So that's one of the reasons why we actually, our main idea is, you know, creating a generational impact, yeah? Because at the end of the day, there can't be 100% efficiency. But the higher the efficiency that we get, the better, yeah? So that means that we are trying to create avenues. So as we are trying to work on the research center, yeah? We are currently working hand in hand with the Chandaria Business and Incubation Center to see if they can be able to incubate some of these ideas. Chandaria has been in KU since around 2010. They've done wonders in terms of incubating ideas because they have, it's an incubation centers. They take in the ideas, help them move from the ideas all the way to the startups, and even have their own pool of investors who they can be able to link these students up with, yeah? So the main idea is not only to have students participating in this competition, but have them incubated so that at the end of the day, we can actually not only work in line with the theme, but make these great ideas see the light of day.
All right. Looking at also MMU in line with all the ideas that students are going to present, because not all of them will manage to go to the finals, but there will be some great ideas that can be presented or will be presented for that matter, in terms of just ensuring that they actually have a lifeline post the Hult competition.
Yeah, so currently, because it's a competition like any other, of course there'll be a winning team, but we don't scrutinize whichever team and whichever idea they had. Like for instance, back then when I was still an organizing committee member, the teams that were not able to partake, we were trying to be able to push for the first 3 teams, because normally Hult Prize gives us a chance for the winning team to proceed to the regionals. So the other, like the first runners up and the second runners up, we're also trying to channel the idea to be able to reach to the regional level. Yeah.
All right. Now, earlier on, you had mentioned something to do with, you know, the teams coming together and needing to look for sponsorship, among many other things. What are some of those other logistical factors that come into play for the teams that are essential to help this team actually move forward with the ideas that they have in line with the competition? Hannah.
Yeah. So for the teams, funding comes from, for now we're looking for sponsors to be able to organize the event, the on-campus event, because we'll need a couple of things like maybe banners, we need maybe t-shirts for branding, and that's the main focus. But also without the teams, without the students, we're all doing this in vain. So of course, for the students, we're also trying to partner up with organizations to be able to assist them with their ideas.
All right. What about in KU? Some of those logistical aspects that come into play in line with what the students need, in line with the competition?
So it being a competition, of course, the students have the idea in their mind, you know, of course, there has to be a winning prize or something of that sort, on their on-campus level, So we're get something, but the main idea is for them to be able to get something which is a bit tangible and will be impactful to them, and that means that bringing in more professionals, finding the right mentors to guide them in the right area that they'll be going to, and also just to polish the ideas moving on forward so that they may be able to see the light of day. Okay. So on our end also, like working on a zero budget, because I also think it's really a lovely approach, because it gives you you know, the student social entrepreneurship case to crack on your own. Start from scratch. How can we be able to create a team, bring on board sponsors, convince them, because it's a learning curve also for you going on forward.
Yes.
And for us, of course, we have a budget of whatever we're trying to do, of course, ranging from the marketing to also organizing the events, awarding the students, among other things. So that's some of the main reasons that we're looking for sponsors, yeah. Right. But it ranges into other things, of course, because when we are going outside to look for sponsors, we're not only looking for that in terms of cash, we're also looking for in-kind sponsorship, yeah. For example, if we find company X saying, you know, we love what you guys are doing and we'll take 10 projects and fund them for their prototype, I think that's really amazing. All right. Yeah.
So anything that is in line with the competition is welcome.
Anything.
Now this comes to now the in-campus rather project itself, the competition itself. It's over a span of about 6 months before you get to now move to the next step. Take us through how that 6 months will be looking like.
So for KU, of course, we started out with, of course, me being chosen. Then apart from that, getting on board your team that you work with, setting out your plans. So far we are still in the recruitment phase while we have the training. So we have trainings going on concurrently as we are onboarding the students, while also looking for sponsors and also just trying to put the word out there, like whatever we are trying to do today of what Hult Prize is. So for example, like next week, we'll be having a public lecture, a 3-in-1, the first of its kind. And we invited the president, but he'll not be able to attend. But in his place, he has assigned CS Peter Munya of Agriculture, who will deliver the public lecture. And also other guests who will be the same, yeah? So the idea of that was to give students insights, because the approach was, can we get someone in government? Can we get someone in the private sector? Can we get someone in the NGO? And for them to talk about this thing, you know, how did COVID affect them? How are they coping right now? What's the plan for the future? And how can innovation come in through opportunities that they have spotted in the various organizations, yeah? So also to give that individual who's a bit clueless, what are some of the opportunities that I can look at, yeah? So we have that ongoing. Then of course, after that, the public lecture will now have our quarterfinals. And after the quarterfinals, we'll have the second batch of pitching trainings. Then after that, we'll have the semis, and we'll have a team selected for around 10 in the 10 teams that now will move to the finals. And of course, we hope that after the finals, we'll still be able to do some of these trainings. We'll not stop them.
All right. Yeah. What about in MMU? You know, yes, you will launch the on-campus program, then follows in the next steps. What are those next steps that the teams need to be aware of as they prepare for the competition, the grand finale?
Yeah, so like you said, of course we have to mentor students. There have to be those information sessions that we bring in an expert from the Hult Prize team or from outside the school to be able to share their knowledge on business and whichever field. However, we will be able to support the students in preparation for the on-campus competitions. So normally during the competition, the students are supposed to come up with a PowerPoint presentation. Having a prototype is an added advantage because, of course, presenting your idea without a prototype, of course, it's a hassle.
The practicality of it, yeah.
Those teams which have a working prototype is an added advantage for them. So they come and present their ideas to the judges during the on-campus event. So from the on-campus event, the winning teams from various universities around the world proceed to the regional level. It's called the regional summit, whereby the winning teams are able to compete. The winning teams compete with other teams around the same region. they'll present their ideas, they'll pitch rather to a panel of regional judges. So from there, they'll proceed to the Global Accelerator, which usually happens in UK, London. Yeah, so it's actually an opportunity for a student who has never gone outside the country. You see, it brings those kinds of opportunities.
Yeah.
You're able to travel, you're able to communicate and share knowledge with students from other universities across the world. So during the Global Accelerator, the students undergo extensive training and mentorships. Of course, they'll invite experts from around the world, business experts, potential investors. So even if the teams will not be able to proceed to the finals, they might encounter an investor who might be interested in investing in their idea.
Yeah. So
winning the $1 million is not like the end goal, like it's a learning process.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's not like if a team does not proceed to the finals, it's not the end. So in the finals, the last final 6 teams proceed to which usually happens at the United Nations in New York, in the US. So from there, of course, the winning team out of the 6 teams will be able to win the $1 million to fund their startup idea.
Beautiful. Now, you had mentioned that the Hult competition was introduced in your school in 2020?
No.
That's when you first interacted with it.
Yeah.
Now, looking at the few times you have seen that the teams do put up their ideas, work together, incubate them, what would you say is what are the things that you're going to be doing different this time around that you feel will set you apart and set you up for, better outcomes in this year's competition?
Yeah, so back then when I was the documentation coordinator, of course I was looking up to the campus director as my mentor.
Yes.
Yeah, so I used to see whatever she was doing. That's why right now I'm able to improvise on the ideas. So we were planning to, because back then we had like 10 teams because the sensitization was not that extensive. So this time we are aiming, because multimedia, it's not a big campus as compared to Kenyatta University. It's still yeah, you get it. So we want to try to incorporate around 30 teams as at least as an improvement from the previous year.
All right. What about in KU, looking at 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, and 22 is now here. What are the few things that especially as the campus director, you are going to be encouraging the teams to do differently to set them up for success?
I think I'm coming from a different point of view as compared to Hannah, because in my case, there was no prior experience. I was just thrown into the deep sea to find my own way.
Figure it out.
But of course with the help of mentorship from the former campus director. And I mean, I've told you it's been a good evolution till this moment. And we strive to do whatever we can that will benefit the students. And that means, if possible, to get the best of the best for them. Yeah. For example, last year, and at some point when I actually got this job as a campus director, I felt the pressure to leave, because when the former, you never know what you are getting into. You never know whatever you're getting into until you find out the information. So of course, I was there being chosen as the campus director. Then the former campus director, we had a chat. And that moment the pressure came in, because he did wonderful things, yeah? Apart from bringing on board sponsors, he managed to work hand in hand with the World Food Program, and they signed a deal of 25 million Kenyan shillings, where all the teams in East Africa that were #1 were taken to Denmark to do their prototyping, yeah? And I think that's really amazing.
That's amazing.
Because you're not only working for yourself or your university, you are looking to create impact that covers others, yeah?
All right.
So I don't know whether we'll reach that point this year. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm hoping that whatever we'll do, we'll be able to create impact that will stretch out not only to KU, but other universities, and also trickle down to the community around. Yeah.
All right. Now, as we close this conversation, just your message to the team and all the other campuses that will be participating in this year's Hult Prize competition.
Where is my camera?
Nihile director? Yes. No, there you go. Ndoye mewaka red.
Okay, so to all the people listening to this, being students, I think this is a really lovely opportunity for you to take part in this, because such opportunities come once in a lifetime, yeah? They expose you to different areas and also just give you a chance to be the best version of yourself.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's not about only innovating. You can create networks along the line that will help and benefit you somewhere else.
All right.
To also, for those who are looking to work with us, they can reach out to us and work with us. And also, I'm hoping to see KBC during the lecture.
Chizeni kama nyinyi. We are the national broadcaster.
Yes, national broadcaster.
All right. Hannah, also to your school and the other students that are participating in this competition, as a school vice campus director, what would be your advice to them? There's your camera.
Oh, okay. So I can say I have a story. From last year's competitions, we actually had a team which won at the on-campus event. They were able to emerge to go to the regionals, which happened at Kuala Lumpur, but due to COVID, it happened, it was an online session. So they were the only Kenyan team that were able to proceed to the Global Accelerator.
Yes.
So that team is called Vardy Smart. Yeah, they came up with an innovative idea on a smart bin. Okay. So I want to challenge students out there. You don't have to be doing a STEM course. Yeah, as currently for me, I'm doing industrial chemistry, and it's not like it's just it's a forum for students like me who are doing such courses to partake in the competition. Even that a journalism student or a student partaking a social science course, yeah, you can come up with that idea. Don't diminish your idea. Okay. Don't feel like, no, the engineering student has a better opportunity because they do more technical and practical work. Because this year's theme, it's based on just that business idea that can create employment for people around the world.
All right.
Yeah, so don't, yeah. I want just to say that
don't second guess yourself.
Second yourself. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for that. This is a beautiful opportunity for everyone, especially the students, to just set yourself up, bring up that idea. You never know how far it can go if you just take the step to start. Sure. We have been speaking with Hannah Nungari, who is the Vice Campus Director at the Multimedia University, as well as Desmond Smith Mboya, who is the Campus Director at KU. Thank you so much for being with us today. We wish you guys the absolute best.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Karibuni sana. We're not done with Good Morning Kenya. Much more coming up after this break. Do stay with us.